Westerly, Rhode Island, where we are working on a ranch house built in the 1940s. And originally it was just a one-story house, but we are adding about 1,000 square feet with a second story up there. It's going to be a gambrel shape. We've got the side walls already lifted. We've got the building sheet, and the roof is up, which means it's time to start working on the inside. Hey, Tommy. Hey, guys.
Hey, Kevin. How are you?
All right. So inside work soon, but a little work outside.
Yeah.
We got a deck.
The deck's going on here, and it's going to wrap around the front of the house there. So we're getting ready to set the post and the post base on top of our footings that are set below the frost line.
So this is a pretty big improvement for us. I mean, there used to be an underground garage right here.
Yeah, that's all got filled in with a new foundation there. You can see it.
Yep, and we brought the grade up, and so now this is basically at the first floor level.
Right, right. So the plan first is we've got a guideline right here. This joist has been cut, 67 inches. That's the inside dimension of our carrying beam right over there.
Gotcha.
All right, so this is a notch for our beam to set on. We'll screw it from behind, and that's our way of making a mechanical fastening system so that it doesn't lift.
And we've got the best help that money can buy, Catherine,
Absolutely.
Deshawn, and Ryan. You guys ready to get some work done?
Definitely.
All right.
All right.
So the first thing we want to do is let's get a measurement out there, Ryan, so we can get a line down. You guys make sure that there's no stone in the way when we snap this line, because we want to set our outside position on all of these. So what have you got, Ryan, for a straight edge there? Anything?
1.25 inches out down.
You're going to hold it tight against here. And I want somebody, which one of you guys want to hold the level here
I'll hold
and
the
make
level.
this plumb? And Ryan's going to measure that down low.
It's plumb.
Okay, now you're going to help to hold down tight so it doesn't move. And Ryan, you hook your tape on the inside. We're going to take the chalk line, bring it down the other end, and you're going to hook it on the outside of that metal post base down there. And we're going to run a line and snap it on the top of all these posts. All right, so I want to run my line down here, right there, and snap. That's the outside of that base right there. So that's for that one. Now we'll do this one. Right there, it looks like. Yep, that will be right there. That's the outside of that one. All right, let's get the masonry drill, and we can drill these holes and set these posts. All right, roll up the line. All right, we're ready to drill our holes to put our masonry fasteners into the concrete. We want to make sure that the face of the base is lined up with this line right here. We're going to drill a hole right there, about in the center. Go ahead. And you want to drill the hole deep enough so that we can get these wedge anchors all the way down and just have the nut and the washer stick up just a little bit. All right, so we're going to take a little straight edge. We put it on the ledger of the house and rest it there. I take my level and I put it against this post. This post is what we're going to get our length for our post that's going to support the beam.
Okay.
All right, you see the level? If I hold the bubble in the center of the two lines, it's level. What I want to do is I want to drop it just a little so the bubble hits this line right here. That puts a slight pitch down on the deck so the water will go away from the building, not into the building.
Okay.
All right? So now, I want you to hold that tight. I'm going to push against this just a little bit.
Okay.
You ready? I'm where I want to be. Now I'm going to mark right here underneath, right there. So that's the top of our beam on the outside. So now what I want to do is I want to measure down from that line. I'm going to measure down 9.5 inches. That's the height of the beam. So if I measure down 9.5 inches and I put a line right here, that's the height of the post, and that's the bottom of the beam down.
Okay.
Pull it, pull it. There you go. Nail it. Good. All right. All right, so now we can plumb the rest of the posts and fasten them.
And then we just drop the joist in all the way down.
There you got it.
There you go, Kath. The next one's on you. our house is in the Dutch colonial style, and that means that it has a gambrel roof. There's an upper pitch which is shallow and then a lower pitch which is steep, and typically there would have been a bell shape, a curve right there at the end. So we're going to actually add that. It's going to be decorative only. Jeff, you got to put on these tails, I guess, to our sheathing right here.
Yeah, so we have the extension of that rafter tail is going to come right down. That plywood will continue down and right onto this sweep that we made that goes outboard of the building.
And it's not just for this part of the roof here. You're going to run this the full length of this side, other side?
Way on the side, and then it returns and goes on the other side.
Yeah.
So this will actually become roof, but the side will be sidewall shingles.
So I'm thinking a lot of rafter tails.
150 of them. I'm going to show you how we make them. All right, so on the iPad here, you can see the drawing that shows that sweep for that roof that goes across here. That's where we just were, and then we're obviously going on all four sides.
You've got a little one up top as well?
Yeah, exactly.
So even more tails than I thought.
Right.
And what are they made of? They're looking like some sort of a build-up here?
Yeah, so we needed 14 inches in width. So we went with a laminated material. It's a finger-jointed lumber, and you can see that finger joint there. So back in the day, we would cut this with a jigsaw on site, and 150 of them would take a couple days to make all those. So now we can take that AutoCAD file, send it to a CNC machine. That CNC machine will make a repeatable pattern every single time, and we've got 150 of them. It'll take 2 hours to do it.
So you've got these big 14-inch wide planks that are just running through the machine.
Yep.
The router's dropping down,
That's right.
tracing it,
Right.
cuts it off, moves to the next, and we're off to the races.
Yeah. So Kevin, we've got the ledger already on the building here. That's our horizontal line, and that's a positive stop for these rafter tails. And then we've got it laid out so that it's right on the studs on the inside of the house. So we're gonna face screw this with a 6-inch screw, and then we'll just follow along and toenail into there. Okay, so we're going to end up with 2 layers of 3/8 plywood, because remember, we have that curve. We've got to get this plywood to bend with the curve. So we're going to line up our bottom. Use your square to line that up, Deshaun.
All right, I'm good on the outside and on the face.
Okay, we're going to nail the bottom first. You got my square there. Okay, now we got to press that center in, and a nail will suck it right down. Okay, then we can nail the top. Okay, come right over to me.
Measurement on this.
Come right over. Yep. All right, so next we have our fascia trim, and we've dadoed out a slot to accept our soffit.
Nice.
So that soffit will lock into here, and then the fascia comes right along, drip edge will be here, and there'll be roof shingles here, another flashing there, and then siding will come down onto that.
Right, that's a pretty sweet detail. Really gives us that Dutch colonial look.
Yeah.
I like that system.
Yeah, all right, let's get it going.
So the budget on this landscaping project is small, but there's a few things I want to talk to the homeowners about. They need a formal walkway to the front door and steps from the parking area to the back of the house. In Westerly, there is one material to consider. Here in Westerly, granite was a very large part of the economy for over a century. John Kadori is our local historian. You want to tell us a little bit about the granite industry in Westerly?
Well, Westerly was well known as a granite center for a good 100 years, from 1850 to 1950. Actually, at any one time, there were over 100 companies operating in the Westerly area. But what made Westerly granite so valuable is that it's a very hard, it's an igneous rock made from molten lava that hardened under great pressure.
Right.
And therefore is very strong. And so therefore you can see fine detail when the master carver works with it, and it lasts for years.
So what did they use the granite for? What are some of the famous buildings and monuments that have used Westerly granite?
Well, locally, Christ Episcopal Church here in Westerly, the town hall in Westerly is all made out of Westerly red granite. But around the country, the 2nd Division Memorial on the south lawn of the White House in Washington, D.C., the Library of Congress building in Washington, D.C., the Antietam Monument in Maryland, the site of the Civil War, a massive monument, even out into Utah and Colorado, 42 states. And we're still looking in those other 8 states to see if they have any Westerly granite monuments.
How big was it in the economy here?
Well, in the 1900 census, 57% of the population had some direct contact with the granite industry.
Okay.
If they weren't stone cutters or quarry workers, they maybe handled the oxen that hauled the stone. The problem is that between the Great Depression and World War II, a lot of the talent had been lost, and so by the time the war was over, 2 or 3 of the quarries closed.
But the granite is still here, it's not depleted.
The granite is here, but in Westerly, it's not as close to the surface as it is if you go up to Barre, Vermont. There, the beds are much closer to the surface, and they've calculated that they have enough granite to last another 1,000 years.
Really?
Yeah, the beds are close to the surface, easy to get at.
Okay. But for years and years, it did fuel the town
It
and
did.
the economy. Okay.
You can imagine the cost today.
Right.
No one's willing to pay for it.
Right.
It's just too much.
Jeff, looks like class is in session, huh? We got another window install lesson.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a pitch in this windowsill so that water will roll out. So we're going to use a clapboard. So the clapboard's a little thicker on the back and a little thinner on the front. So we're going to put it in so that it's flush to the front. And again, the high side is on the inboard side. That way we're pitched out. All right, so we're just using regular roofing nails to fasten this clapboard to the sill. Okay, so now we have our pitch. So we want to waterproof this system so that the water that comes in will work its way out. So we have a flashing tape here that we're going to put in, and this is self-adhered, so we're going to remove half the paper on one side. You don't want it to stick to itself. Pull that in there. Okay, so we're going to go about halfway in. We'll start in the middle and work our way right to the outside, and then run it up the sides. So now we're going to peel off this side. Go ahead, Ryan. Yep, with your hand. Yep, keep going. All the way into the corner. Try to get a nice tight seal into that corner. Okay, so a critical step here in the corner. We're just going to make a little slice in that corner and lap that over. That's why we put that first little piece in there.
Check this out, Captain. Ready?
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to soft flash all the way around the opening. So we'll pre-cut those pieces. 2. You don't want to take all the release paper off at the same time because once it sticks to itself. So we're going to go about 2 inches to the outboard side, and the rest will be to the inboard side. Go ahead now, finish that. Try to keep it even all the way down. Okay.
There you go, just nice and smooth while he guides it down. Just stay a little ahead of him. There you go. Get it all down, push tight. Can't overdo it.
All right, now the last piece across the top. Now this one we're going to stick to the top first. We got to make 2 little slices here, then we'll fold it under. Okay, Sean will take a couple cuts right in the corner there. Corner, corner. Okay, so fold that under. Nice and tight. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a bead of caulk around 3 sides of the window. Okay, so we're not going to caulk the bottom because, again, back to that water migration, we want to give a gap for that water to get out from underneath. So before we put the window in, we're going to put in a composite shim. That's going to lift our window up off this sill about 1/4 of an inch. So that way, again, if any water gets into this system, it comes down and it's got a path to escape. That's the reason why we didn't caulk that bottom flange, because we don't want to trap water in. We want to give it a path to escape. Okay, so the next thing, we're ready for a window. We're going to put the bottom in first. Okay, good. Now, make sure that flange gets up into the caulking.
There you go.
Okay. All right, now Ryan, I want you to use your fingertips to put inside between the window and the rough opening so that you roughly get it in the center. Okay, so you feel the reveal? Is that about even?
Just about, yeah.
Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is level the sill, and I'm going to do that from the inside. So I'm going to switch places with Ryan. Ryan, you come out and help Deshaun with the window. Okay, Catherine, we've got it centered in the opening, so the first thing we're going to start with is leveling the sill. Okay. And that looks like it is right on. Ryan, I want you to put a roofing nail in the bottom corner of each side. Okay, good. Now the other one. Okay, so now the next step is critical. We want to make sure that the window is square. So you can see right now that this window is 3 pieces, so it can rack from side to side. So the way we're going to measure for square is you're going to hook your tape on the corner of the outside of the window and measure to the opposite corner, and then we're going to compare it to the other side. Okay, so I want an exact measurement.
69.5.
So let's hook here. See, we're hooking right on the outside corner. What do you got for a measurement?
69.5.
Okay, so the window is square. All right, so I want to see you put a nail in each side of the top, in that top hole. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure our reveal is correct up the sides. Okay, so you see that the double hung rides along this rail, all right, and this reveal is a little open in the middle, and then this side looks pretty good. So we want to shim this closed a little bit before we nail off that flange. Okay, so we're just going to wedge a shim in between there and close up that gap. Okay, you guys, in the center of this window, I want you to put a nail in each hole on each side. Okay, so now you guys can finish off nailing that window. And then slide it over.
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay. Nice job. All right, then flatten that out.
A lot of framing went on this week, and also the rough plumbing began. Josh Jordan, our plumber, came and started the master bathroom group right here. So you can see the large pipe is a 3-inch pipe is for a toilet, and you can see the master toilet comes here, and it runs inside the joist bay right here, simple, and it turns and goes down inside this internal partition, which means we could drill through this top plate and run this vertical down to the basement pretty straightforward. Now on this first floor, it's a wide open plan. You got a living room right here, you got a dining room right here, and you have a bathroom group right here. And there's no partitions, not like the partitions we had to run the master bath drain down. So you also have all kinds of glass, and you got an outside wall right here that you really would want to drill through the structure right here. I'm glad you're the plumber, Josh, on this one. How are you going to get it done?
Well, first thing we're going to do is locate the toilet. I'm hoping it's going to be in the middle of an open bay,
Okay.
so that we have something clean to start with. So what we're going to do first is go up and drill a pilot hole down.
All right, I'll wait here.
All right.
not good, of course. Josh, come on down. So look at this now. If we try to put the toilet exactly where it's drawn, look where it comes, exactly onto this double joist right here. So look at the pipe would take up this much. We can't cut that structure out. Boy, of course. So we're gonna have to find a way to move this toilet one way or another, Josh.
Yeah, unfortunately.